but while I'm not a Facebook bull, the bottom line is they have delivered two pretty decent quarters in a row.
Okay, let's bring in Bob Peck, president of Co-Rise LLC and a Facebook investor. Phew, you must feel relieved.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I think it's clear they beat the numbers, and more importantly than the street consensus, the sell side, they actually beat the buy side consensus too, which you can see on estimize.com. And they were looking for about 1.24, and they came in with 1.26. So I like to see the top line beat, as well as the bottom line, the 12 cents. But the most important number by far and away from what you saw was the re-acceleration of the advertising revenues.
What about, just to clear it up, Tim's point here before we dig further into the figures about the lockups?
Yes. Oh, lockups near term are a big concern. You've got over 1 billion shares or so coming due in the next couple of months.
Why don't you sell them?
Yeah, I think one of the big things you've seen so far, and I take a little solace in, is that since the IPO, management has not sold one share. Now, Zuckerberg did sell just to cover some taxes, but you've seen the CFO, Sheryl Sandberg, any of the key directors and top management have not sold. So you're seeing them support the stock here. So yes, it's definitely a concern. It's definitely a risk. But, you know, I own it not for this quarter, the near-term fluctuations. I own it because I spend the whole day speaking to industry personnel, and they tell me what they see as far as these new products that are coming out. And that's what I'm sort of hanging my hat on, is you have short-term products.
The new mobile products you're talking about.
Yeah, well, mobile's one of them. One of the biggest that doesn't get enough attention is Facebook Exchange, right? And that's where they actually could place ads on other websites. So that's desktop as well. But the mobile ad network that you're alluding to is huge. And where do I get this information from? By talking to agencies, industry personnel who are telling me how big those opportunities actually are. And Facebook's by far and away the leader.
They haven't as yet delivered them to the market, though. And some might say you're quite naive to sit there assuming that insiders won't sell, in the same way as you might have been naive at the beginning with the pricing that they gave the stock.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, I think you haven't seen the man. Yeah.
One could. You're not, but one could.
It has lost $40 billion in value. That is a fact.
Yeah. Well, I try and go by the fundamentals. So that's why I spend so much time talking to people who are in the industry, who are buying these ads, who are placing the ads, and they're very bullish on these near-term products. Not to mention the long-term stuff that you can just start to imagine with things like e-commerce and you've seen with the Facebook gifts.
So going by the fundamentals, you have a valuation that already expects some very significant improvement in the fundamentals.
Correct.
So where do you think the stock could go then? You've got to see...
Correct. So I think you can get 20% returns or sort of a doubling in the stock over the next 2.5 years or so. And I think if you start to see some acceleration of the advertising here, that could be much faster. But I like to predicate my investments on about a 20% annualized return, which to me is a great return for investors.
Good luck, Bob. I hope it works out. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
On a big evening for Facebook and a vindication for those that hold it. Clearly a busy evening here with all the after-hours action. Ahead on the show, will muni investors be the big losers no matter who wins the election?